and welcome to another session of life coaching, mindset coaching. Okay, we're going to throw a little bit of sacred text in there today because we normally talk about manifestation. Okay, manifestation happens whether you think so or not. Manifestation is just there. You don't have to believe in it. Okay, it's a thing. But here's the thing you want to learn how to do. You want to learn how to control your manifestation. Okay, so when you manifest something, you have control over it. Okay, you will something into existence. You can speak things into existence. You can write them into existence. Okay, now when you apply the four pillars, affirmation, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, it cannot not happen. Okay, so we're going to talk about the sacred texts today, the law of attraction in sacred texts and manifestation. Okay, so good morning, Jay. Good morning, Costas. So we're going to talk about manifestation in the sense that you use your subconscious, okay? Because that's really what it is. It's not magic. It's not witchcraft or anything like that. Okay, so this morning we're going to talk about the law of attraction and how it appears in sacred text. And a lot of people miss that, okay? Because they look at the law of attraction or they look at the commercial side of it, the law of attraction, and they look at it like some mysterious power or whatever, magic. Okay, it's not like that. It's your subconscious. So in the Bible, it says you become, right? For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. That's the Bible. In the Bhagavad Gita, okay, it says a person is made of faith. Whatever one's faith is, that he is. Okay, that's in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so that's in Hinduism. Now in the Torah, it says, as you have spoken in many ears, so will I do to you. Numbers 14:28 in the Torah. Okay, so you see again, it's the law of attraction. Okay, there's nothing mysterious about this. It's in all sacred writings. In the Quran, it says, indeed, Allah will not charge the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So you see, the sacred texts are all saying the same thing. They're just saying it in a different way. Okay? Now, there's another one in the Bible. It says, ask and it shall be given. It shall be given you, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. That's in Matthew 7:7. Okay? So what is this telling us? This is telling us you are designed like this. Okay? You are a human being. You are designed for this purpose. Okay? That when you ask, it shall be given. When you knock, the door shall be opened unto you. Okay, what is that telling us? That's telling us to pursue things, to take action on something. Now, action is not only physical action, like walking towards something or, executing an action. Thought is an action. Thought has a vibration. Okay, so just by exercising a thought, just by exerting that kind of energy, that's taking action. Okay, so there's so many passages in the Bible. In the Bhagavad Gita, it also says, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, okay, when that happens, that state he will attain without fail. Okay, so if you are joyful, if you live joyfully, if you live happy, okay, that's the way you go into the next state, whatever that state is, okay, but that's the way you go. In the Torah, Abraham told Lot, if you go left, I will go right. If you go right, I will go left, okay? So this is showing focus and determining direction, okay? In the Quran, it says, and when my servants ask you concerning me, indeed I am near. I respond to the call of the caller when he calls upon me. Okay, knock and the door shall open. Okay, it's the same thing. They're just saying it in a different way. But you have that ability as a human being. You have that ability. It doesn't matter what faith you are. It doesn't matter how you believe or who you choose to believe or how you choose that. You still have that power because of your subconscious mind. So when you ask, okay, you're not asking like you ask your neighbor for a cup of sugar when you run out or something like that. You're not asking that way. Okay, when you ask, you go into the kingdom. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. So you go into the kingdom, close your distractors, okay, like that. Go into the kingdom and ask. Ask, believe, receive. So does it work on physical things? Can you pull something into existence in the physical world? Oh yeah, all the time, every day. But you start within. Okay? As above, so below, as within, so without. Okay? Out here. So everything that happens in here gets expressed out here. Okay? The universal law of correspondence. So we see this showing up in universal law. We see this showing up in the holy books, all kinds of holy books, right? In all religions, in all faiths. Okay, but we see this showing up because this is how the human being is designed. It's your subconscious. So how do you speak something into existence? Well, right, first you get the thought, okay? Thoughts become things. Okay, this is how. First you get the thought, then you get the feeling. Okay, so if the thought is an intention, if so let's say asking, so ask, believe, receive, right? So let's say it's asking. So you're asking in thought, or you're praying in thought. This is where you apply the focus. What do you add to the prayer? What do you add to the intention? What do you add to the asking? Emotion. Okay? So now you're excited about it. You add the emotion to it. As long as you marry intention with emotion, you get manifestation. It will show up. Because now it goes into your subconscious. Your subconscious gets the message. So whatever it is you want to speak into the world, okay, you want to speak a new job into the world, into your life, okay, so focus on the job. Now your subconscious believes it. It's a belief. And the belief is we're pursuing a job. And the subconscious will start showing you ways, start showing you paths towards the job or a new job. Now, the superconscious, so there's the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. And these are states of awareness. Now, the superconscious will go, okay, it'll start giving you intuitive thought concerning the topic, whatever the topic is. And that thought may be, call XYZ company. Call human resources, see if they have openings, see if I can come down and fill out an application, whatever it is, right? So it's important that you be, really focused on the details. Okay, what kind of details do you want? What kind of job do you want? Okay, because if you just say a job, it's wide open. Okay, if you say I want a car, what kind of car? You want a convertible? You want a van? You want an SUV? And what make, what model? So you need to write these things down when you're doing that. Okay, make a list. Make a list and write down what kind of car you want. What kind of model? Be specific. Because the subconscious will deliver. And the superconscious will start backing it up. So we can put God in the superconscious category. But you have the conscious, the subconscious. The superconscious starts paving the way, opening the doors. As you step towards whatever it is you want, the superconscious starts opening doors. The right people come into play, right? How many times has that happened to you? So a lot of times when that happens to us, right, we think it's a coincidence. I wanted a job at XYZ company and I went to the gym and then, wow, I met this guy, like he's in HR and he told me to come apply. And then a week later, I'm working for that company and that happens to be the company I was thinking about. Whoa, big coincidence, right? Everything was a coincidence. So you can start looking at life like one big random occurrence. Or you can look at life like there's some organization here. There is some intelligence here. Everything is intelligent here. And you have to believe one or the other. Either everything is random, there is no order, there is no God, there is no intelligent design, or there is a God, there is intelligent design, everything is intelligent, and everything conspires on your behalf to bring you what you desire. A lot of people, when they read their Bibles, like, it's in the Bible, right? God spoke the world into existence. A lot of people read their Bibles, but they miss the fact that they can do it. They miss the fact that they're co-creators with the same ability. And what they're really doing is they're reading an example, because life is a mirror. Everything that's happening in the Bible is about in here. It's not about out there. There is no out there out there. There is only nature and other things from someone else's in here. Okay, now that alone should show you what fantastic opportunities you have in life. But when we see something like, great architecture, or like, wow, this is a great design for a bridge, or, and then you go, well, I don't think I could do that. That's too big for me, right? I'm here to say, no, it's not. It's not. If someone else can do it, if there is anything out here from someone else's in here, you can do it too, if you want to. Okay, there has to be interest. But the subconscious learns in repetition. Your subconscious can learn anything. 90 to 95% of your actions are subconscious. So you don't need to learn how to brush your teeth every day. You don't need to learn how to drive the car every day, right? You don't need to learn these. These things are all committed to memory. So 90 to 95% of life is just program, program, program. So your habits are programmed as well. You want to get rid of a habit? You can change it. Okay, how do you change it? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. When you marry intention with emotion, it imprints very, very well on the subconscious. And then it becomes a belief. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Now, if you keep thinking something over and over and over again, it's going to go in your subconscious as a belief. But if you write it as an affirmation, if you meditate on it, if you vocalize it, if you speak it out loud, okay, this is speaking things into existence. Why? Because your subconscious is picking up on your voice. It recognizes your voice over everyone else's. Right now, my subconscious is listening to me. My subconscious is taking in all this information that I'm saying. So when you say something bad about somebody else, right? When you speak against things, it goes in your subconscious. Does that affect your personality? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you speak things into existence, including a lack of self-confidence. So that's the vocalization part. Your speech is very powerful. Your words are very powerful. Okay, words carry vibration, but more than that, your subconscious is listening. So be careful what you say. Choose your speech wisely. So you can change certain words that you have the habit of saying that you're really not comfortable with, but you just have a habit, so you just say it anyway, right? Okay, and then there's visualization. Visualizing the outcome, seeing yourself there. If you don't see yourself there, wherever there is for you, whatever you want, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to experience, okay? For some people, it's a good relationship. For someone, it's a good job. For somebody else, it's a good car. For somebody else, it's a good house, or whatever, okay? But whatever it is for you, some people just want to be left alone. They want a cabin in the mountains. They want to be away from everybody and be left alone, and that is success for them. Everybody has a different idea of success. So you can't look at somebody and just judge them and go, well, yeah, he's not successful. Maybe he is. Maybe he's doing exactly what he wants to do, and in that case, he is. Because of the law of relativity. The universal law of relativity tells us that everything is relative. Some people don't want a fancy car. Some people don't want to wear nice clothes. Some people don't want to go to the gym and exercise. So everyone has their own way. Everyone has their own thing. So judgment is very important to avoid. Okay, to avoid judgment. And that's why, in the Bible it says, judge not and ye shall not be judged. But when you judge, okay, and this is very important to understand as well, okay, when you think something, it goes into your subconscious, okay? Whatever you're feeling. So in other words, if you hold animosity towards someone, right? You're holding something against somebody, but you don't say anything. You're just thinking it. It goes into your subconscious. Does it affect you? Yeah, of course it does. It gives you a complex eventually. How does that happen? Well, pretty soon, right? Your self-esteem goes down. Pretty soon, you don't trust people. Right? Pretty soon, these little things start happening, and you're wondering, why is this? What's going on with me? And then you get in the habit of doing it. You get in the habit of not trusting people. You get in the habit of going off like that, losing your temper. You get in the habit of things. And you wonder, how did this happen? It happened through your subconscious. Can you change it? Yeah, sure. You can change it. It's not difficult. You just have to be consistent. Or let's say it another way. You have to repeat it over and over and over, and then pretty soon, you're out of it. So sometimes, it takes a little effort. Sometimes it takes a lot. I quit smoking one time, like long time ago, like 25 years ago, whatever, 20 years ago maybe. And I quit smoking, and I had to make a decision. It was either smoking or entertainment. And so I chose entertainment, and I had to quit smoking because the two don't mix, right? Because I had to use my voice. And I tried and tried and tried and tried, and it always went back to the same program. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the subconscious. Okay. So the program was, right, go down to the store, buy a pack of cigarettes. Right? Go down to the store, buy a pack of cigarettes. You're running low, go down to the store, buy a pack of cigarettes. And then I went without cigarettes for a little while, right? And then the subconscious takes over because you're trying to be positive, you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying to change your patterns, but the subconscious pulls you back. And then you're back down at the store buying a pack of cigarettes. Okay. So that happened to me, right? So I decided, okay, I'm going to stay in the house for the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Go back to work on Monday. And I went back to work on Monday, and I was watching a Christian channel, and I was praying like all weekend. When I left the house on Monday, I had no desire to smoke until now. Okay. But it took a little extra special thing. Okay, I had to isolate myself. I had to stay home because I knew if I didn't, I would go and buy cigarettes. See? And that's just an example. It's different for everybody. Some people can just, not smoke and move on and they're all good. Okay, some people can do that. But whatever it is for you, just know you can change habits. Okay, habits are easy to change. Sometimes you got to do something like that. And what that is distancing yourself from it. It's the same thing as changing your environment. Humans are very, very adaptable. Okay, so we adapt to our environment. We adapt to our friend groups. Okay, we adapt to our friends. So pretty soon we start hanging out with somebody, right? Then you start using the same catchphrases. You start telling the same kind of jokes. You start, going to the same clubs or places or whatever, hanging out together kind of thing. Because like attracts like. So people gravitate towards like people. Okay, and that's why they say, well, you show me your 5 closest friends, I'll tell you who you are. Okay, but you could, because you can tell. And it's the universal law of correspondence. Whatever's happening in here will be expressed out here. And whatever it's expressed out here from you, okay, will be recognized and picked up by somebody else. Okay, and then they will see, what you're doing or how you are, and they will be like, wow, he's cool, she's cool, I want to hang with him, I want to hang with her, kind of thing. And that's how it happens. So like attracts like all day long. Now, when we talk about vibrational frequencies, okay, we're talking about emotional frequencies. We're talking about people, cheerful people, right? Normally hang out with cheerful people. You don't see cheerful people hanging out with people that complain a lot, people that grumble a lot, people that, right? Like that, okay? Because the two don't mix, because like attracts like. So what do you have? Well, you have the people that gossip a lot, right? Hang out with each other. Why? Because they enjoy it. And I'm not judging it. I'm not saying that's wrong. Okay? I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that happens. And then the people that like to have fun and joke and laugh, and because they love to laugh, and they'll hang out with each other. And this is why we have those similarities in our friends group, friend groups. You'll have the people that enjoy coffee, right? They'll be hanging out at Starbucks. Then you have the people that like, smoothies. They'll be hanging out at Jambas. You have people that like alcohol. They'll be hanging at the bar, or Mexican food, or whatever it is, right? So like attracts like. And when we find these commonalities, hey, Manuel, you're in England? Wow. Manuel's from Belgium. Good morning, Manuel. He's watching from England today. Nice. So when you look at your life, right? Everything you see in your life in the immediate vicinity is what's in here. It's what you've been thinking. And whether you know it or not, you're manifesting this. Okay? So whatever it is you're thinking, it's appearing out here. Now, if you don't like whatever's out here, you need to change what's in here. And that will change out here. You don't make changes outside. You make changes inside. When I first heard that, I was a teenager when my uncle first told me that. He goes, no, you got to change in here. And I'm like, okay, wait. How do you do that? Right? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Very easy. Okay, so the affirmations part looks like this. So I'll show you guys. This is the one I'm working on right now. It's not very much on there, but this one is one that I'm finished with. I have about 12 of these in storage. But it's important to do this. These are affirmations. It's not journaling. Okay, but it's important to do this because you're giving your subconscious instructions. Okay, because that story I told you about smoking cigarettes, right? So eventually what happens is the subconscious will go back to its original program. It'll go back to the habits. Now they could be good habits or there could be bad habits. Is there morality in manifestation? Of course. Manifestation is your subconscious. When you think things, it begins to happen. Of course there's morality. Yeah. So it's not witchcraft. Manifestation is not magic, okay? Let me see. Did you write anything else? Yeah. Oh, you're metal detecting in England, Manuel. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so if you don't get the wrong idea about manifestation, you do it whether you're aware of it or not. You do it whether you believe in it or not. So it's thought, action, result. That's manifestation. It's not like you do a magic spell or what. I mean, you could if you wanted to get fancy with it or whatever. But it's your subconscious. There's the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The superconscious would be source, God, universe, higher power, higher self, infinite intelligence, that kind of thing. Okay, So you see, a lot of people like Sophia, um, think that this manifestation thing is like, wow, this is, you know, some people told me like years ago when Rhonda Byrne came out with the documentary The Secret talking about manifestation, somebody told me it was demonic, and I'm like, demonic? I'm like, no, it's subconscious. Okay, so the habits that are in your subconscious, if they are not morally sound, okay, if they don't follow some kind of moral compass, then yes, it's not going to be moral. If you're a good person, or let's say you have your morals together, okay, your principles, right? You have good principles, good morals, then of course your manifestation is automatically with good morals and good morality. It depends on who you are. Yeah, I know, right, Sophia? It depends on who you are. Okay. That being said, look around you. Okay. So people that are immoral, right? If they're immoral in here, they're immoral out here. And you can see it. Look at what they do. You will know them by their fruits. Okay, let's take a look at the subconscious tree. Okay, so the roots down here are your subconscious beliefs, your core beliefs. What do you believe? Do you believe you should help your neighbor? Do you believe you should be kind and generous? Okay, those are all morals. Okay, do you believe that you should, help others? Are you putting others first? That's the definition of humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less, putting other people first. That's humility. So if all of these things are, in your wheelhouse, or if you live by these things, by these principles, kindness, generosity, compassion, you know, those things, then your manifestations will reflect that. Okay, so let's say those things are in your subconscious beliefs. You believe in those things. Okay, that shapes your paradigm. The trunk of the tree is your paradigm. So your paradigm is your attitude towards the world, the way you see the world, the way you view things based upon your beliefs, what you believe. So your attitude here, okay, is shaped by your beliefs. Now your attitude dictates your actions. Because first you think it, then you do it. Okay? Thoughts become things. Your actions are the fruits of the tree up here. The fruits of the tree. Those actions, the fruits, turn into results. And that's why they say, you shall know them by their fruits. You will know them by their actions. People who are morally sound commit moral actions or moralistic actions. Okay? People who are, people who believe in kindness will not be selfish. Or people that believe in generosity will not be selfish. People who believe in love will not be cold. Okay? People who are good people will not be cold to you. They won't come off that way. So, people have a very tough time hiding who they are. And they can't hide who they are for very long if you know what to look for, if you know how to see these things. So if somebody's desk is nice and orderly, guess what? They're orderly in here. That's the universal law of correspondence. If their car is messy, they're messy in here. If their car looks like they don't care about their car and things are all over the place and dirty and, whatever, that's the way they are in here. They don't care in here. It's just expressed out here. So everything in here gets expressed out here. You can tell by the way people keep themselves. Are they clean? Did they take a shower? Do they wear clean clothes? Are they presentable? Are they, and when you see people, right, like this, then you'll know. It's not a judgment thing whether, whether they should be this way or they should be that way. It's not a judgment thing. It's like however it is, it's like that in here. So in order to fix anything out here, you need to fix in here. And you need to seek in here. A lot of people think that when they read things, in Holy Scripture, for example, when it says they look but do not see, they listen but do not hear. They're not talking about out here. They're talking about searching in here. You seek in here, seek and you shall find. It doesn't mean go through the neighborhood and look for whatever. It doesn't mean that. It means seek within, because the answers are within, because the kingdom is within. That's where you seek. So it says seek first, right? The kingdom, and all else will be added unto you. And what that really means is when you seek in here, okay, you'll get the answers for everything out here, in here. Why? Because you were born with infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence. You have the answer for everything in here if you ask, if you seek. Ask, believe, receive. So try this. We were talking the other day, we were talking about questioning your subconscious, right? All you have to do is ask a question. So go within. Go in the kingdom. Close your distractors, okay? Because these distract you into all kinds of stuff. Okay, close your distractors and ask a question. Any question. What should I do about blank? What should I do about, my schoolwork? What should I do about my relationship? What should I do? And all of these things will start coming to mind. Why? Because the book of life is in here. Your subconscious. Your subconscious has learned your life. And based on your habits and based on the things you've done, and based on repetition, whatever you've repeated over and over, whatever has become your habits, whatever has become your thought processes, it's all going to be in your subconscious. And you can change it. And the fastest way to change it is affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. So you get your pen for the affirmations. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident, maybe. Okay, because confidence is a centered, relaxed feeling. Okay, that's the cornerstone of my teaching, is confidence. That's why my clientele is majority female. They seek confidence. They bring their daughters to me, their young daughters, grade school daughters, high school daughters, because they want them prepared when they get out in the world. They want them to be confident. So start with your affirmation. Now, write it in the morning when your brain is in theta state, and speak it out loud at night just before you turn off the lights and go to bed. Because it will be the last thing that your subconscious hears and the first thing it remembers, and it will think about it all night long. Just like your heart will operate all night long. Your subconscious runs everything all night long. It will keep your heart beating, okay? It will regulate your temperature. It will do all those things. Regulate your blood pressure. It does all of those things automatically. You don't have to think about it, right? You just sleep. Second, meditation. Okay? Nothing crazy. Be still. Be still for 10 minutes a day. This morning I did 1 hour meditation. Some mornings I do 3 hours of meditation. It depends. When I'm working on something really, really important, I do more meditation. When I want something to really, accelerate, really hurry, I do more meditation. Now, you can do guided meditations. You can do meditations by yourself. You can put on solfeggio music on YouTube. They have a lot of that. And just put on the music. As long as it's something really easy, really mellow, really gentle. And then sit still for 10 minutes. Close your eyes. Put your timer on your phone. Close your eyes and sit there until the timer goes off. And hopefully it's something like chimes, something mellow. You don't want a buzzer to wake you up out of your meditation. Okay, that will shock you. Okay, don't do that. That's not good. Self-love suggests that you be gentle with yourself. Why? Because the world is going to be harsh with you. Why are you going to add to it? Okay, the world will be tough on you. You don't have to be tough on yourself. Okay, you need to be the opposite. You need to provide the balance. If the world is hard on you, be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be generous with yourself. That's what self-love suggests. I know we got a bunch of new buzzwords, right? Self-love, self-care, like all of that, right? But it's important. I deal with professionals. Professionals are my clients. And it's important for them because they have big responsibilities. Okay, I'm here for free for you guys. Okay, so write these things down, take notes, okay, and be mindful. It's more about being mindful than anything else. Mindful means you pay attention to the little things. Mindfulness. It's very important. So affirmations, meditation, vocalization. Okay, there was this old catchphrase in the 90s, right? It said, speak the dream. Speak the dream. Articulate the dream. Why? Because it goes into your subconscious. When you speak the dream or you speak the goal, let's say it another way. When you speak what you intend to do, it goes into your subconscious as an instruction. Now, if you're writing your affirmation, right, in the morning, you're speaking it at night, now you're vocalizing. Now you're adding the vibration to it. The vocal vibration, the audio vibration. So the subconscious recognizes sound and imagery the best. Okay, that will imprint your subconscious like the most and the strongest. So mirror work is another thing I have my clients do. Standing in front of the mirror. You know, most people have trouble facing themselves in the mirror. The majority of people, okay, they have trouble standing in front of a mirror and looking at themselves. That's where self-love comes in. Okay, you have to appreciate this one. You have to love this one. You have to be able to face this one. But when you do this, and when you speak your affirmations into a mirror, what happens? Well, you're looking at yourself. Your subconscious recognizes you over everyone else. Your subconscious recognizes your voice over everyone else. So it imprints your subconscious faster. So if you can do that, if you can face yourself, do it. It works. And it will work faster. So the question becomes like, how bad do you want it with whatever it is that you want? But that's a technique. So, affirmations, meditation, vocalization. Speak the dream, speak the goals. Now you don't have to, this doesn't suggest that you tell everybody what you're going to do. Okay, that's never a good idea. Okay, because you'll get random haters. Like you'll get people will just try to derail you just to derail you. I mean, there are people like that. Okay, so you want to keep it, to yourself. So when nobody's home, speak the dream. When you're in your room by yourself, speak the dream. When you're driving to work and it's just you in the car, speak the dream. Don't keep it a secret from your subconscious. You want to get your subconscious used to that so that your subconscious takes the instruction and it begins to work on it. And then the superconscious provides the intuitive thought, the intuition. Okay, you can call it divine intervention sometimes, depending on what it is, right? Or divine guidance. And that's basically what it is. But if you rely more on that, then you rely on your own understanding. Okay, it says that in the Bible, lean not unto your own understanding, right? But on every word that, right? Okay, you know the verse. If you're a Christian, you know the verse. I'm not here teaching Sunday school. I'm here showing you how it relates to your subconscious. Everything points to your subconscious. Everything that you do during the day, 90 to 95% of it is from your subconscious. Your subconscious is very, very important. It learns in repetition and it plays the programs in repetition. So you wonder why you do the same thing. You know, a good example, the example I use, or one of my favorite examples is you drive to work Monday through Friday, same way, right? You drive back and forth to work. On Saturday, you want to go to the store, pick something up. And 5 minutes into your drive, you go, oh man, I'm driving to work. And you correct your course and then you go to the store. Your subconscious was driving you, but it was driving you to work because that's what it does the majority of the time, 5 days a week. Now on the 6th day, you want to go to the store, right? There you go. So you were born complete. Okay? You were created in the image of the Creator. So you watch these movies and whatever, these I don't know, silly movies that go, well, you know, he completes me or she completes me or what. No. You're complete. You're already complete. God is very real. But you need to understand how to work this. You need to understand how to be the co-creator. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Visualization has nothing to do with your eyes. Well, it has a little to do with your eyes, but it's mostly in the kingdom because the kingdom is in here. Okay, so when you visualize, close your eyes like this. Now visualize. Now picture it. Now picture yourself with the final result. Now picture yourself on that jet to your vacation. Now picture yourself on the beach in Tahiti. Now picture yourself skiing in Vail, Colorado. And you will start to bring it to you. Why? Because it will go into your subconscious. And your subconscious will start working on it. When you speak the dream, right? It's the same thing as God speaking the world into existence. It's the same thing. When you start speaking it, your subconscious picks it up as a belief. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. A belief is things you keep speaking. So doubt and fear are the only two things that keep people from their dreams. Okay. Fear is having faith in evil. Think about it. Because fear is at the very bottom of the emotional frequency scale. At the very top, it's love. Fear is down here at the bottom. All the positive frequencies belong to love. All the negative emotions, frequencies, belong to fear. So there's a little bit of fear associated in every negative emotion. Fear is at the root of it. So hate is not the opposite of love. Fear is the opposite of love. So the high frequencies are love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction. When you start to get into the negative frequencies or the negative emotions, okay, we're not talking frequency as in resonance, like scientific. We're talking about emotions. But when you get into the lower frequencies, the lower vibrational emotions, it starts with worry. Worry is like praying for something bad to happen. If you're worrying about something, you are praying for it. Why? Because you keep thinking about it over and over and over, right? And then there's the negative what ifs about it, right? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this happens? What if that happens? As a result of that one thing, right? But it's the topic that goes in your subconscious. You know, what if I lose my job? What if my boss fires me? What if, right? But it's all centered around your job. Okay. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that about this? So it's this, the topic, that's the issue. Now you're just praying for something negative to happen with this, with the job. And now you're having faith in something negative because you're worrying about it. So the energy is negative, right? And it's having faith in that negative thing or that negative vibe or that negative energy or that negative frequency. We could say it all those ways. But that's what it is. So what happens? Well, eventually you get what you worry about, right? You know, in the Bible, in Job, right? It said, what I fear falls upon me because you attract it. So that's the law of attraction in the Bible as well. It's all over the place. It's not just ask, believe, receive. It's negative stuff too. It's worry. It's irritation. So that's another one. Worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and at the very bottom, it's fear. If you're ashamed of something, you have a little fear associated with that. Okay? If you feel guilty about something, there's a little bit of fear involved. How do you release these things? Well, repentance is one way if you're religious. If you're not religious, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Done. Done. And maybe if it's something, you know, strong, significant, right? Something that you did that was really, really, really wrong or really, really, really bad, then maybe you need to do that a few times to convince your subconscious, because the subconscious learns in repetition. So if you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, to your subconscious, eventually it will pick it up as a program, but you need to do it often. And why are you doing this? You're doing this to clear the slate, to clear. Just clearing in general. What are you clearing? You're clearing the negative energy. You're clearing the negative frequency. You're clearing the negative vibration. Then what happens? Well, then the high vibration happens because of the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, the positive and negative. So you have the 50 percentile, you have positive here, you have negative here. The more you push this on this side, you have less negative. Now you have majority positive. The more you push it like this, okay? So if you have 50-50, you have just as much good as you have bad. All you have to do is push this over the line by 1%. Now the majority of your life is positive. And the minority is negative. Push it over a little bit more. 53%, 55%. The majority of your life is positive. It's not about being perfect. If you get down to 80%, 90% positive, that's a stretch. That's unrealistic. That is unrealistic. Why? Because we have thoughts. Thoughts become things. Thoughts become actions. Actions bring consequences or results. Consequences sounds like a negative word, right? It's not a negative word. but we've come to use it as a negative word, right? If you do this, you're going to suffer the consequences, right? Suffer the consequences. You know, when I used to do bad stuff as a teenager, my mom used to say, God is going to punish you. And then, you know, I grew up and found out, oh, God does not punish. God doesn't punish at all. No. God is love. We punish. Our actions punish because our actions bring results. And if you commit a bad action, guess what the result's going to be? It's going to be bad. Okay? So we punish. God doesn't punish. God never punishes. God is 1000% pure love. So it's always ideal to strive towards love. Love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, satisfaction. I have an expanded list. There's more, but these are the principal ones. But when you give someone time, when you give someone love, when you give someone understanding, when you give compassion, all of these things return to you in kind. Because your subconscious learns these things. It learns these actions. And pretty soon when you're generous, you get in the habit of giving. It doesn't matter what you give. It doesn't matter if you give things or your time or understanding or maybe just, you know, a little compassion, right? And understanding, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be material stuff. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be. It could be sharing something that you have already, right? But your subconscious will learn to give. Your subconscious will make it a habit. You know, with my second company dealt with people. We still have it. It's online. It's Voicemaster Vocal Development now. It started as Voicemaster Singing School back in the day in 1988. 89. In 1989. My first company didn't deal with people, so we couldn't give anything. It was just a regular business. But when we built the singing school, we incorporated free time into the singing school. I still do it till today. It's part of our business model. So giving was a part of the business model. A lot of companies give, right? In Hawaii, we have the Aloha United Way, right? So they take, you know, a percentage out of people's check or whatever, and they donate it to charity, or a certain amount, and they donate to charity. Businesses donate to charity. But we thought we would go one step further. Because what's really valuable in life is your time. Anybody can throw money at a charity. Anybody can say, here's $100, you fix it. Here's $100, go feed the homeless. Here's $100, go clean the beaches. Anybody can do that. That's easy. That's easy. But how many people are willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work themselves? How many people are willing to give their most prime resource, their life? Your time is your life. But here's what I found. When you give your time, you get a different kind of goodness back. You get a different kind of care back when you give your time. When you give your money, yeah, you get things back. What goes around comes around, guarantee. But when you give your time, when you invest part of your life in someone else's life, it's priceless. Ask parents. Ask parents that sit down with their children and help them with their homework. Ask a father who sits down and teaches his son how to fish. Those things. They're giving their time. But I'm here to tell you it works with strangers. Okay, because people used to walk into my office. I do online now, right? I teach online now. But used to walk into my office and they were strangers the first day. And sometimes we give to them right away. We give them extra time. So it didn't matter if we knew them or we didn't know them or they're strangers or whatever. It didn't matter. It was part of the business program. It was part of the business model. And you know what? We were very lucky with that business model. And what a coincidence when the big crash happened in 2008 and everybody was moving out of our building. We were spared. That our small little school, just 400 square feet at the time. Before that, we had 600 square feet, but at that time, 2008, we had 400 square feet. And God said, no, you stay. Stay right there. Was it spooky? Yeah, it was spooky. It was really spooky. Watching everybody move out of the building, watching business fold, watching people go out of business, it was very spooky. But we had faith. We had faith that somehow we were going to come out on the other end. And we stayed in that building for 23 years. But we believe that we survived because of our giving. St. Catherine of Siena said, you will be rewarded by the measure of your giving. In other words, you give a little, you'll get a little. You give a lot, you'll get a lot. Whatever you give, you're going to get back. But those things go into your subconscious and become a habit. The superconscious, or God, right, starts supporting whatever it is you believe. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Hopefully it's good because that'll be better for you. Okay? But if you have bad habits, you'll get intuitive thought about that too. It doesn't matter. You make the choice. Okay? But there's a limit to the negative part. You know, because you can start here. Let's say that this is normal. And then there's the street. If you go too much negative, there's the street, right? And then you go one down from that, that's prison. And then there's only one more step, graveyard. Boom, there you are, graveyard. It's done, the game over. Game's done. You only live one time this way, one time. But now on the positive side, what do you have? Well, there's no limit to the amount of money you can make. There's no limit to the amount of cars you can buy. There's no limit to the amount of property you can buy. There's no limit to the amount of people you can help. There's no limit to, you see, it just goes. It's unlimited. It's infinite. Why? Because God is infinite. God, or good, is infinite. There's no limit. There's a limit on the other side, though. The graveyard is over here, okay? And like this. But on this side, it just keeps going. You can't see my hand. It's going to disappear there. There you go. But it's all the way down there, okay? It's all the way down there. Because it's unlimited. So whichever way you choose, it doesn't matter. It's not a judgment thing. It's not a judgment thing. It's just whatever you choose. And most of us have, I have what I call the windshield wiper syndrome, right? Sometimes good thoughts, sometimes bad thoughts, sometimes good actions, sometimes bad actions. And we go back and forth. And that's called life. And there's lessons to be learned that way. And Jay is saying, see you next week. So, tomorrow actually. So yeah, we're here every morning at 7 a.m. Okay. Now next week we have a change. I'll be off island next week. So, just on the weekend, just on Friday, Saturday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we won't do any lives for next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we will resume next week, Monday. But up until Thursday, we'll be here. Okay, so every morning till then, 7 a.m. Hawaii time. So those of you, on our international feed, we want to say mahalo and aloha from Hawaii. And if you have any questions, it's junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. You can write to me and I'll answer your questions. Yesterday, I got an email that just said hi. So if you want to say hi, you can do that too. That's cool. Thank you so much for being here, and